evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 1986 Australian Tourism Awards. My name is Gavin Wood, probably the loudest television announcer on the ABC, if you do watch Countdown on Sunday night at 6 o'clock. It's very nice to have you all here. I know some of you are still finding your seats. That's all right. What we've got tonight is a television show primarily with you as our special guests. Now, we'll be talking about fabulous Australian places to go, things to do, and Paul Hogan, of course, the amazing success of Crocodile Dundee. And also we'll be telling you about a brand new movie that I am producing, actually. It's about 3 giant balls that invade the Earth. It'll be called The Extra Testicle. That goes into production in a couple of weeks after I give up my day job. Now, ladies and gentlemen, primarily tonight, as I said, it is a television show. And as you see around the auditorium, this fabulous theatre, there are television cameras. You see them? They're all pointing at you. Now, at any time tonight, a television camera might be pointing at you. Now, if you're sitting there doing something you shouldn't be doing, or sitting with someone you shouldn't be sitting with, more importantly, I heard Adelaide's a swinging town, let's be careful tonight out there, huh? You never know who might be watching. It's live right around Australia. So if you are scratching a part of your body, which you should have scratched before you came in here tonight, may I suggest we all have a group scratch now. Thank you. Now, for the people that are interested, if you could just raise your right hand with me, just the people sitting down, if we can just, this is called the audience participation time. I always get that wrong. If you could raise your right hand, even the people up the top. Oh, now, come on, Adelaide, what's this? Right hand in the air, please. Come, Mr. Bannon, even you too. Yes, thank you. Right, now slowly bring your right hand down, slowly, between your legs, and check for Chewy under the seat. Any? We do have an audience here tonight. I'm so pleased. Now, the idea, ladies and gentlemen, we need lots of applause tonight. There will be winners, lots of winners tonight. There'll be television packages. You can see the video screen up above me. Say if there is a winner, we then cut to the package of that winner and tell you how wonderful the winner is, and then we come back to the auditorium here. The worst thing is if we come back to silence. You know, all of Australia are going to say, oh, Adelaide's gone to sleep, look. So what we'll have is a few selective people around the room prompting you in applause. So where are those few selective people? There's supposed to be somebody sitting down there with cans, obviously not here. But if you see somebody applauding and going crazy on the side over here, please follow him or her, because it is important that he doesn't really look like a twit clapping by himself. So if you could please applaud, because everyone will be watching. Of course, the Pope's coming, isn't he? That'll be a big one. Yes. Oh, well, I can't tell you about that, can I? I'll tell you about that at the party afterwards. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with it. Now, when people are presenting and winning awards, if you can be silent, but at given times when I say congratulations to, and that's when we want you to erupt in applause. And don't forget, no scratching of those parts, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get on with the pre-televised awards, and then we'll be straight into, you will see a 2-minute countdown on the screen, and that's when the television show is set to roll. So to introduce the preliminary awards, please welcome the Deputy Director of Tourism for South Australia, Mr. Andrew Noblet. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Australia's special events capital. It's terrific to have you all here from all states and territories, and on behalf of the organising committee, I thank you. This year, South Australia is celebrating its 150th birthday, and tonight is another highlight of those celebrations. We wanted this night in Grand Prix City to have a special South Australian flavour, and we're delighted to present a program which includes some great South Australians, including Glenn Shorrock, Julie Anthony, Bobby Lim, our own Minister for Tourism, Barbara Weiss, and Border Town's favourite son, Prime Minister Bob Hawke. I believe it is recognition of the increasing prestige of this event that support has been so readily forthcoming from Australian Airlines, the Australian Tourist Commission, the Adelaide Casino, and our own South Australian Department of Tourism. Your recognition of tonight's award winners will be echoed across the country as ABC Television joins us for the first national telecast of this important annual event. The time restrictions of a national telecast mean that not all awards can be presented live on television. In a moment, we'll begin the award presentations for a number of categories which this year, due to time limitations, could not be included in the telecast, which actually begins at 8 o'clock. Could I remind award winners that time does not permit acceptance speeches. We ask for your cooperation in this matter, as any further time delays could mean some awards might not even make the telecast. At the conclusion of the telecast at 9:30, please join us for the celebration banquet in the Adelaide Festival Centre foyers. Guests in odd-numbered seats should exit to your left to find your odd-numbered table, and guests in even-numbered seats, please exit to your right. Ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to Adelaide. To begin proceedings, it's my great pleasure to introduce Australia's Minister for Tourism, John Brown.
Good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pleased to see that I'm still welcome in Adelaide. There are some rumours I'm not so welcome in Western Australia, but I'm trying to live those down. Well, we're very honoured this year that the National Tourism Awards are broadcast nationally on ABC television, and that's a great step forward as a great showcase for this wonderful product we have in Australia. As Andrew Noblet said, not all of the awards will be presented on television. Some of those will be presented now, but I can assure the recipients and their supporters that they will be recognised on the televised part of the show. A special show has in fact been arranged for the television viewing, and I'm sure that you'll all be more than entranced with the quality of the entertainment. Before commencing the first awards, I'd like to pay some small tributes, particularly to Andrew Noblet and his committee here in South Australia. They've worked tirelessly to make this award night the great success that I'm sure it will be. And to that, should I add some congratulations and thanks to people from my own office, particularly Francie Grew and Karen Clark, and the secretary of my, or the assistant secretary of my department, Jim Ferguson, who've also worked day and night for some weeks to make this a success. But particularly, I'd like to thank our distinguished group of judges under a very distinguished Australian, Ita Buttrose, and with her, James Strong, Lady Mary Fairfax, Bill Peach, Bobby Lim, John Haddad, Jim Kennedy, Sir Peter Abels, John Ward and Leo Schofield. And I can tell you that they've had more than a difficult task in sorting out the winners from the 170-odd nominations for these awards tonight. Without any more ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite John Haddad, the Chairman of the Australian Tourist Commission, and Lady Mary Fairfax to join me in presenting the first 5 awards.
The finalists in the accommodation national category are Innkeepers Leonard of Hobart, Gordon Place, Melbourne, and the Canberra International.
And the winner is Innkeepers Leonard of Hobart.
John Dean, Managing Director of the Innkeepers and Pinero Group of Companies, worked for many years with TAA, now Australian Airlines. He was the company's first manager in Chicago and has been state manager for Avis in South Australia and Tasmania.
What's his name? Congratulations. Thank you. Great effort. Now don't get a hernia carrying this off, it's pretty heavy.
Thank you very much.
And your certificate.
Thank you.
The finalists in the accommodation budget category are Merimbula Park Cabins, New South Wales, Tea Tree Village, Victoria, and Cranbrook Hotel, New South Wales.
And the winner is, upside down, Tea Tree Village, Victoria.
Roger Wynne has owned Tea Tree Village at Ocean Grove for the past 3 years after leaving his family-operated car park nearby. He also plays a major role in attracting visitors to the region as a board member of West Coast Tourism.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you. Don't forget your certificate.
The finalists in the tourism marketing category are Jet Set Tours, Victoria, Adelaide Casino, South Australia, Northern Territory Holidays.
And the winner is Northern Territory Holidays.
Bill King pioneered his unique four-wheel drive safaris to the rugged splendour in the Northern Territory 20 years ago, and he's still going strong, constantly searching for adventurous places to journey.
The very distinguished Bill King. Congratulations, Bill. Thank you, John.
The finalists in the Tourist Services category are Brisbane Forest Park, Queensland, NRMA, and Yulara Development Corporation, Northern Territory.
And the winner is Yulara Development Corporation, Northern Territory.
Jacques Merkus, acting general manager of Yulara Corporation, entered the hospitality industry 20 years ago as a training manager with the Commodore Hotels. Shortly after, he was responsible for a 5-year development plan of Threadlow Village. Congratulations, Jacques Merkus.
Thank you.
The finalists in the Tour Services and Tourist Transportation are Hotham Valley Tourist Railway, Western Australia, Great Australian Air Cruises, and Able Tasman.
And the winner is Hotham Valley Tourist Railway, Western Australia.
Graham Bellicott has been intrigued by trains since his days in short pants. He is the president of the Hotham Valley Railway and is an advisor to Transperth on the rail passenger system.
Congratulations. That looks like Lippy on your cheek. Thank you. Thank you very much, John and Mary, and Peter and Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to invite two other of our distinguished judging panel, John Ward, the Deputy General Manager of Qantas, and Mr. Jim Kennedy, the Deputy Chairman of the Australian Tourist Commission, to present the next 5 awards.
Thank you very much, Minister. The finalists in the Training, Education and Industry category are Rest Point, Tasmania, Southern Pacific Hotel Corporation, and National Tourism Industry Training Committee, the Business of Hospitality.
And the winner is the National Tourism Industry Training Committee, the Business of Hospitality.
Congratulations to Henry Rose and Anne Ream. Henry took up chairmanship 12 months ago following a distinguished 25 years as general manager of the Seville Townhouse. And the company is the company's chief executive.
Congratulations, Henry. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you very much.
You can carry that, Henry. I'll carry the
The finalists in the Training and Education Institutions: Department of TAFE, Adelaide, Proserpine State High School in Queensland, and the Ryde College of Catering Studies and Hotel Administration in New South Wales.
And the winner is the College of Catering Studies and Hotel Administration, Ryde, New South Wales.
June Beck started as teacher of food science in the Department of TAFE in 1965 and advanced to the head of educational programs at Ryde College in 1978. A year later, she was appointed head of the food school, which supplies industry with numerous well-qualified graduates. Congratulations, June Beck.
Now we have the finalists in the Tourism Authorities and Commissions category, and they are the Northern Territory Tourist Commission, the America's Cup unit of the Western Australian Tourist Commission, and the Melbourne Tourism Authority.
And the winner is the Northern Territory Tourist Commission.
The Honourable Ray Hanrahan holds down the Minister for Tourism portfolio in the Northern Territory and has lived in Alice Springs since birth. He's a real estate agent before initially entering public life as an alderman for the Alice Springs Town Council.
Congratulations, Ray. Not too often that ministers win awards. Good on you, Ray.
Now have the finalists, media, newspaper and magazines. Finalists are Treasure Islander, Tasmania, The News, Adelaide, and Ian McMahon, Travel Week.
And the winner is the News, Adelaide.
Roger Holden, editor of the News for 3 years, has extensive experience in newspapers. From 1980 to 1983, he was assistant editor and headed the Sunday Mail following a 10-year stint on London's Fleet Street. Congratulations, Adelaide, the News, Mr. Roger Holden.
Never get it off.
The finalists in the media television category are NBN Television in Newcastle, RTS 5A Loxton, South Australia, and Good Morning Australia.
And the winner is NBN Television, Newcastle.
James, Mark Anthony and Peter Brown. James Anthony has been involved in the television industry for 17 years and specialises in direction. He was station manager and worked in New Zealand, the BBC Channel 10 in Sydney. With him, Peter Brown. No, he's by himself. Say hello to Peter for us, James.
Finalists in the media radio category are radio station 4BC Queensland, All About Travel with Steve Neal, 5DN Adelaide, South Australia, Pamela Wright and Talking Travel, ABC Sydney,
And the winner is station 4BC Queensland, All About Travel with Steve Neal.
Diana Holsworth will receive the award on behalf of Steve Neal. Diana is the producer of this very popular radio show on Brisbane's 4BC. Congratulations.
Thank you, the two apostles, John and Jim. I didn't notice that Kennedy was very sanctified, let me tell you. They must have dropped the standard for apostles, that's all I can say. We've got a couple of minutes to fill in. It doesn't seem like 3 years since the first award night. You know, tonight's a very significant night. It's the 25th of September. Happens to be the night on which Crocodile Dundee is let loose on an unsuspecting American public. I think it'll make... And a very distinguished Australian, Paul Hogan, will of course be charming more Americans to come here. He said on American television the other day that the biggest growth industry in Australia at the minute as the people we're employing at the airport, shoving people back on planes because we can't handle the big numbers that are coming. Now, I hope they didn't believe it. I'm sure they didn't. Most things that Paul says are taken with a fair bit of salt. I noticed there's another crocodile tragedy somewhere today. Good heavens above. I hope it's not as a result of Crocodile Dundee, and I hope that it happens to have a happy result. But in that short period of time since we first instituted those awards, a short 3 years ago, it's amazing how this Australian tourism industry has grown. And in Paul's absence, I'd like to pay a tribute to him and also to the creators of those ads, Mojo, that marvellous advertising agency that's sitting right down there in front of me. The effect that those advertising campaigns have had around the world is simply profound. And Australia is no longer the best kept secret. It's one of the best known facts about the world. This is the best place in the world. So to see you all here tonight thrills me to death, to think that this industry, as glamorous and exciting and as wonderful as it is, has this focal point. And when the television period comes on later, I'm sure that you'll all be very happy to note that all of Australia is going to know the enormous contribution that all of you have made through your industry to the wealth of this great country. So thank you for coming, and we'll see you in a little while when the cameras are on. Thank you.
Minister for Tourism, Mr. John Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be taking a short break so that we can realign camera angles, and we will be taking a short break in just a moment, but let's go right back and introduce Mr. Andrew Noblet. Centre stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Noblet.
Sincere congratulations to those winners in the early categories. The fact that we're running early pleases me because it gives me an opportunity to say a few more words. When I was asked by John Brown to act as chairman of the 1986 Australian Tourism Awards Organising Committee, I accepted with great pleasure because, as I said earlier, we wanted to give this night a special South Australian flavour. But despite the fact that you are in the Adelaide Festival Centre and will be entertained by a number of people who have strong links with South Australia, I do want to give due credit to the people who have made tonight the success that I know that it's going to be. And great credit is due to the people who've done most of the work. And I refer to, as the Minister did earlier, from Canberra, Jim Ferguson, Francie Grew, Brian Wen, from the Ryde College of Ryde School of Food and Catering in Sydney, Deputy Principal Bill Galvin, Director of Communications from the Australian Tourist Commission in Melbourne, Bill Gray, and our own staff at the Department of Tourism in Adelaide. This is a team effort. And I would particularly like to mention Ms. Jackie Cullerton of Sydney and Eastway Productions, who are responsible for the stage presentation here tonight in the Festival Theatre. Thank you. I think your applause is well deserved. I did mention earlier that there would not be time for acceptance speeches during tonight's presentation. The speed with which we have accomplished the early awards suggests that we might be able to have a minor revision to that instruction. And as winners of major awards come forward to collect their trophies during the 1-hour telecast, we don't mind at all if you want to say just a couple of words of thank you. That's all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. There will be a short break, as Gavin mentioned. There will be a countdown at approximately 3 minutes to 8 before we go live on television across Australia on ABC television. And we would like to extend thanks to the ABC, not only head office in Sydney, but ABC Adelaide, for the great support that they've given us in mounting this telecast tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by.
I'm looking for, I've lost a
Mr. Philip Adams, ladies and gentlemen.
Isn't that embarrassing? I've lost a stud. Paul Keating's going to be so... Oh, that comes later. Look, just an announcement. These awards were to have been held in Perth to coincide with the America's Cup. But the West Australian hotel industry, as you know, have whacked a black ban on brownie. And, John, I told you it would come to this. For heaven's sake, send back the ashtrays. And I'd like to congratulate the Hawke government for so totally backing this night, because they've gone right down the line. They've even given the Leader of the Opposition his own national holiday. And so I've got to find my button. I'll be back with you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, I also mentioned earlier that we are indebted to the sponsors of tonight, Australian Airlines, the Australian Tourist Commission, our own department here in Adelaide, and the Adelaide Casino. And the Adelaide Casino, the most elegant in Australia, would be delighted to have your company at the conclusion of tonight's celebration banquet. The casino, for those of you who are not regular visitors to Adelaide, is indeed something to see, to be believed. And it's just across the plaza, adjacent to this complex. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by. We'll have a countdown before the telecast commences at approximately 3 minutes to 8. Thank you.
The Deputy Director of South Australian Tourism Corporation, Mr. Andrew Noblet, ladies and gentlemen. And, of course, Mr. Philip Adams.
G'day.
Ladies and gentlemen around Australia, welcome to the Australian Tourism Awards for 1986. And to open the show, please put your hands together for Glenn Shorrock.
Airports, passports, I thought this is not for me. 'Cause I belong where the summer light bleaches the beaches, vanilla white, Bondi, big sky, the Southern Cross of fire at night. I'm getting to know you, Australia. I'm getting to know, I'm getting to know, I'm getting to know my Australia. From where the winds of Jarrah blow to the high Kosciuszko snow, flame trees, date tree, cane fields dancing to the lightning show. Oh, I'm getting to know you, Australia. I'm getting to know, I'm getting to know, I'm getting to know my Australia. From the dreamtime heart of Uluru to the sweet Barossa wine, I'm proud of you, Australia. I'm proud to say you're mine. Yes, I am. The kangaroos surf on Foster's Fold. The sharks, they smile on Kodachrome. LA, Norway, I'm taking my holidays at home. Oh, I'm getting to know you, Australia. I'm getting to know, I'm getting to know, I'm getting to know you, Australia. I said I'm getting to know, getting to know, getting to know you, Australia. Oh, yes, I am. I'm getting to know you. Got a little, good, we got the camera, good. Let's take a shot, quick. Ready?
Glenn Shorrock.
Thank you. That's one for the new album. If you want to mingle with the world's elite, Adelaide will put you in the driver's seat. Oh my God, I never saw that.
And now, your host for this evening, the very racy Philip Adams.
Dear, oh dear. Thank you. During this pit stop, I have an announcement to make for those of you here who will be attending the supper afterwards. There's been a last-minute change to the menu. John Brown has vetoed the junket. It is, I think it's something to do with the Prime Minister's Pritikin diet. Now, first of all, credit's where it's due. In this era of buying Australian, I'd like to thank Paul Keating for lending me his Giorgio Armani tux. And I'm sorry, Paul, I've lost one of your buttons. And I'd like to thank John Brown for the lend of his Commonwealth car. You can now see how John revs up those record-breaking expenses. But it's no use for we affluent socialists. There's absolutely nowhere to put the chauffeur. Anyway, Prime Ministers, Premiers, Ministers, and in the nicest sense of the term, fellow travellers. Tonight we celebrate one of the most fundamental of all human urges. No, not that one. The urge to be somewhere else. To have a bit of a squiz and poke around, to check out the greenness of the grass while you wonder where the hell your luggage went. Now, Australia and tourism have always gone together. Not only was it compulsory in the beginning, it was also terribly cheap. All you had to do was steal a hanky. And the first swing-away holiday involved a length of rope and a yard arm. Now we're amongst the most energetic of travellers. From the Ginza to the Greek islands, from Sunset Strip to Soho, there's always an Australian, always the same Australian, regrettably, this Australian.
Hello, everybody. Yes, my name is Les Patterson. I need no introduction, but I've given you one all the same. And thanks, Philip Adams, too. It's a beautiful job you're just doing there, and we'll continue to do. Hello, Cocky. Yeah, Philip Adams, Australia's answer to Karen Carpenter. Boy, oh boy, you're slimming down nicely, son. Not bad for a bloke with a high profile. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm not there in person. I'm here, of course, on location of Les Patterson Saves the World, the flick that's really going to put Australia on the international map. No worries. You know, we'll after the spade work Hoax is doing with Crop Dundee. But thanks also, and this is paradoxical for me, but shows my generosity, thanks to Malcolm Fraser for making Australia almost as well known as South Africa. Good luck to you, Mel. And also to Paul Keating for putting up the airport tax to 30 bucks. No one will want to leave Australia anymore now. We'll all have to stay here. And also the people who sell souvenirs, kangaroo fur postcards, Airs Rock in a snowstorm. You're doing a beaut job, particularly the little shop at Tullamarine at the Transit Lounge, you know, where the poor bastards who've never been in Australia before are stuck for about 2.5 hours with only one dunny on the way to Sydney. Beaut, keep it up. I'm very proud of Australia, as you may know, and I'm very proud of the Labor government, of which I'm an old hand, for making Australia at least 40% cheaper to visit than any other country in the world, and making the Australian dollar the bargain currency of the world. Good luck. God bless you all. And it's a beaut country we live in, you know. It's the only third world country in the world where you can still drink the water.
I was going to say how aggressive Barry Humphrey's personas are when Dame Edna isn't hurling gladdies at us like assegais. So Les is usually hurling spittle, but it's quite clear the Prime Minister isn't the only leading politician who's off his grog. I've never seen Les looking so sober or giving such a dry performance. Now, tourism, tourist and tour, the words come to us by a roundabout route from the Greek tornos, meaning a lathe. Now, I mention this not only because of the SBS component and the ABC audience, but it's the perfect image for the modern Australian tourist industry. People with their sleeves rolled up, working bloody hard. For today, tourism is our fastest growing industry. And today we have Paul Hogan. And let us remember that as we consider the plethora of these awards nights on television. I'll write a little poem about it. There are Oscars and Toscars and Emmys and Grammys. Countdown has Mollies, and then there's the Sammys. There's Penguins and BAFTA, not forgetting the Logies. So what to call these ones? The Brownies? No, the Hoagies. Now, in the past, I'm told, I've said the odd thing that's put Paul's nose out of joint, and he's threatened to put mine out of joint with a knuckle sandwich. So let me say this to you, Paul. There is gold in Kakadu, and you found it, without turning a single sod of sacred site. The gold is Australia, the way it looks, the way it sounds and feels, and is, and the way we as a people at our best can be. And the rest of the world recognises it now and has a yen, among other currencies, to see it at first hand. But for me, and I hope Hogs won't mind it if I say this, the most magnificent part of Crocodile Dundee is that portrait of a shamelessly pushy, hard-nosed tourist entrepreneur who gets the customers in. And I thought John Mallion's performance as John Brown was simply superb. Now, on with the Tourism Award, the Hoagies. Let's roll out the ABC's cheery, if threadbare carpet, and welcome you to Adelaide. This is South Australia's Jubilee year. It's 150th birthday. Or as we say in Grand Prix City, they've cracked the ton and a half. Everybody in the state seems to be in the tourist business. Dean Lucan personally catches your fish. The waiter pouring the plonk is Wolfie Blass. And the good sort at reception turns out to be none other than the Minister for Tourism, Barbara Weiss. Why, even the Premier's high office is but a stepping stone to the real job of Director of Tourism in Victoria. So, this is a state all set to catch the tourist wave from Glen Shorrock's sweet Barossa wine to the Adelaide Casino. Their jingle goes somewhere over the rainbow, but it's actually somewhere over a railway line. They've turned the old train terminus where the red hen rail cars used to run into the most elegant gambling salon in Australia, a sort of Buckingham Palace for blackjack, a temple for two-up, a Yarralumna for roulette. Look at all the happy people, not so much paying as playing their taxes. And if the wowsers among you feel a guilty shock of recognition, relax. This is where the ballroom scenes for Gallipoli were shot. With some 3 million high rollers in its first 9 months, the casino contributes $1 million a month to state revenue. And even more if Cabinet approves a very daring idea of John Bannon's to let the lot ride on red. Now to the Hoagies and to our first presenters. A clearly smitten Clive James describes her as the most admired woman in Australia, while he has crushed a dream of mine. In a childhood otherwise preoccupied, I never got round to becoming a TAA junior flyer, and now I never can. Please welcome Ita Buttrose and the Chief Executive Officer of the Australian Airlines that is trans no more, James Strong.
Good evening. Good evening, James.
Good evening, Ida.
Why did you change TAA's name to Australian Airlines?
Well, Ida, we did consider a number of alternative names. We considered Bulgarian Airlines, Costa Rican Airlines, Upper Volta Airlines.
Has a nice ring to it.
Yes, but somehow or other we decided that Australian Airlines just had the right feel.
Smart retorts to smart resorts. We're here to present the award for the Tourist Resort of the Year. The judges considered standards of accommodation, catering, entertainment and service, feeling for the environment, distinctive Australian character, growth, and just plain how good a time visitors had. The finalists are Great Keppel Island, Lizard Island Lodge, and Jalara Development, Northern Territory.
And the winner is Lizard Island Lodge.
Sir Sidney Williams, OBE, is a lifetime resident of Northern Queensland and is chairman of both Air Queensland and Lizard Island Lodge and a past deputy chairman of the Australian Tourist Commission. Congratulations, Lizard Island Lodge.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. 12 years ago, a caravan on the beach, a little T20 Ferguson tractor, and a homemade airstrip. And look, tonight, God bless that lovely staff and management we've got up at Lizard Island who just love looking after people. Thank you.
The sands of time will blow away mystery. No one but you and I underneath that moonlit sky. Take me back to the place that I know.
Lizard Island, Australia's Resort of the Year.
Congratulations, Lizard Island.
To the award for accommodation, international category. The criteria here included deluxe amenities, first-class service, quality of guest experience, and that intangible flair. The finalists are Sheraton Brisbane, Menzies at Rialto Melbourne, the Regent Sydney.
And the winner is the Regent Sydney.
Mr. Ted Wright got off to an early start in the hospitality industry and as a youngster helped his family in Californian family restaurants. He joined the Regent Group when it was formed in 1970 and has been general manager of the Sydney complex since its 1983 opening.
Congratulations.
Thank you, James. I'd like to thank John Brown. I'd like to thank John Rowe. I'd like to thank Paul Hogan. I'd like to thank my wife. I'd like to thank our great staff who really, this is going to be theirs. I'm only the custodian. I'd like to thank the people that are really our bosses, and that's the guests that stay with us that really made this possible. Thank you all.
Sydney's Regent was the first truly international hotel in Australia and has been rated number 11 of the world's top 50 hotels. From the elegance of its suites, view the spectacular location. Enjoy gourmet cuisine in its restaurants. And sophisticated nightlife with superstar entertainment. The Regent is the pace setter for Australia's new generation of first-class international hotels.
Congratulations, the Regent of Sydney.
To present the award for the best tourist attraction, we wanted someone who'd seen them all and become tourist attractions in their own right. So we decided to ask the Leyland brothers, and here they are, Mike and Mal. Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here and nice to be asked to make this presentation. This award is for Tourist Attraction of the Year, that is, a man-made tourist development in harmony with its environment. Now, it must be a significant contributor to the tourist potential in its own region. And innovative in its approach. It must have high standards of marketing, safety and facilities for the disabled. And of course, business success. And the finalists are Pioneer World in South Australia, SeaWorld Australia in Queensland, and Sovereign Hill in Victoria. And the winner is SeaWorld Australia in Queensland.
Mr. Peter Lawrence was the catalyst behind acquiring SeaWorld and has been the major force behind the plans to expand and develop the marine park into an international standard tourist destination.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Oh, I know you're carrying that.
2 years ago, when I took over SeaWorld, my managing director, John Menzies, and I decided that we were going to make SeaWorld one of the best entertainment parks in the world. We've certainly started on that, and this award and our greatly increased attendance are a recognition that we're starting to achieve that goal. I particularly want to thank the SeaWorld family, we call them, 340 of them, who are absolutely committed to giving outstanding hospitality to all of our guests. Thank you.
Over 800,000 visitors will splash and ride in wonder through SeaWorld on Queensland's Gold Coast this year. A non-profit research foundation attracts international recognition from marine scientists. The 300 full-time staff are all shareholders and $20 million worth of improvements are underway. Australia's tourist attraction of the year, SeaWorld.
Congratulations, Mr. Peter Lawrence and SeaWorld Australia. Please welcome to the Australian Tourism Awards for 1986, Miss Julie Anthony and Mr. Barry Crocker.
Would you like to fly in that beautiful blue? fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in Old Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Hey Julie, pack your bags, come fly with me.
Oh, my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. Already I'm so lonesome I could die. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. I hate to go.
Trains and boats and planes are passing by. They mean a trip to Paris or Rome for someone else, but not for me. The trains and the boats and planes took you away, away from me.
Away from me.
From New York to Rio and old London town.
But no matter how far or wide I roam, I still call Australia home.
All the sons and daughters spinning round the world,
away from their family and friends.
and as the world gets older and colder,
It's good to know when your journey ends. Someday we'll all be together once more, when all of the ships come back to the shore. I realize something I've always known. I still call Australia. I still call Australia. I still call Australia home. I still call Australia
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Julie Anthony and Mr. Barry Crocker.
Aren't they nice?
Oh, they're
audience.
nice.
Well,
They're
I guess,
nice.
Julie, being home here in South Australia, I guess you'd still call South Australia home.
I certainly do. Hello, Galga. Come on, the Tigers! Woo!
And you used to be a nun? Ridiculous. We have the presentation for the award here tonight of tourist shops and souvenirs.
Yes, Barry, we do. This award is for quality, creativity and originality of design, and also for the success in catering for the special needs of tourists. The finalists are Sydney Opera House Shop, Purely Australian Shop, Western Australia, and Puzzle Sydney.
And the winner is Puzzle Sydney.
Hilaria and Angelo Logie, two artist designers who combined the traditions of a Florentine workshop with an Australian influence in their finely detailed silver, gold and bronze puzzles, which depict wildlife and traditional themes. Congratulations, Puzzle Sydney.
It's very heavy. I'll hold it for a second. You want to take it? It's heavy.
It is heavy.
You want to say something?
I'll say that I thank you very much.
Puzzle.
Puzzle is the creation of Italian-born designers Ilaria and Angiolo Logi, who bring a unique and imaginative insight to traditional Australian motifs in their range of handcrafted jewellery. Exquisite figures come together to form intricate mosaics in designs like the Australian Puzzle and others based on the Black Swan and the Southern Cross. Souvenirs of the Year by Puzzle.
Congratulations to Puzzle of Sydney.
How lovely to hear Julie, The Hills Are Alive, Anthony and Barry pointing Percy at the porcelain crocker, singing Peter Allen's lovely and moving anthem, I Still Call Australia a Meal Ticket. Now, here's another South Australian Cinderella story, a boy from a fruit block on the Murray who rose to be a really beloved Australian entertainer. Indeed, the first Australian to beat the Americans at their own game and to top the Australian ratings. And he's joined from a lady just up the road in Broken Hill, a great star of stage, screen and teabag advertising. The sound of music, please, for the mellifluous June Bronhill and Bobby Lynn.
There we are. They never asked us to sing.
Bobby, a couple of real old tourists. And I'll tell you this much, I bet there isn't a place in Australia with a postcode that I haven't sung Velia.
Sure.
But you know, love, I have heard the most unbelievable rumour.
What's that?
That you are planning to retire.
No, not really. Well, what is happening, you see, the show Sound of Music with the original cast, that's retiring next year. We're going all over Australia. About 116 concerts we're doing next year.
Fantastic.
Yes. So I'm going to see Australia.
Well, I'm doing something similar. I mean, not so many concerts as that, but I'm going around Australia with a wonderful, doing all of South Australia and all of the Northern Territory with a wonderful show by Robin Archer called Songs from Sideshow Alley.
Really?
And I'm doing something in that I've never done on stage before.
Oh, really? What?
No, nothing like that. I've never yodeled before in my life.
She's doing...
Now look.
June Bronhill goes in the country western.
Now
Yes.
listen, this should be a very handy guide for us.
Yes.
Because the awards are for restaurants and catering.
First, the tourism category. Restaurants, air, rail and road catering services designed for the tourist trade. Special emphasis is given to Australian cuisine and decor, tourist marketing and contribution to an overall theme.
And the finalists are Colonial Tramcar, Melbourne, Anders Ausbach, Sydney, and the Carrington, Bungendore, New South Wales.
And the winner is...
Here we go.
The winner is Anders Ausbach, Sydney.
Mrs. Patricia Burnley started work with Anders Ausbach 4 years ago as a part-time bookkeeper and accountant, but her influence has grown to the extent that her employer now describes Patricia as the eternal figure of the empire. Congratulations, Anders Ausbach.
You can have that. There we go. Congratulations.
There we are. Now come along.
Like to say a quick
I'm sorry Anders couldn't be here tonight. He would have been very proud.
He's in the kitchen.
No, he's
Oh.
in San Francisco.
Oh, well, it can't be bad.
He's in the kitchen in San Francisco.
Yes, no, he's not. Anyhow, thank you very much.
Don't thank us, thank
you on
everybody
his
else.
behalf.
Bless you. Well done.
You'll find the Wharf Restaurant overlooking the water at Pier 4, headquarters of the Sydney Theatre Company. A superlative location with panoramic views of the harbour. There's seating for 80, inside and out. For lunch, pre-theatre dinner and supper after the show. Mine host Anders Ausbach also runs the Barrack Square Cafe and the New South Wales Art Gallery restaurant. Tourist Restaurant of the Year, the Wharf at Pier 4.
Congratulations, Anders Ausbach.
And now, still on restaurants, this award is for the pursuit of excellence, for the highest standards of cuisine, and service, for a menu that promotes fresh Australian produce and for style.
And the finalists are Dear Friends, Hobart, Fanny's, Melbourne, Sheraton Denison's, Brisbane.
And the winner is... It's difficult, isn't it? Yes. I'll keep them waiting. The winner is Fanny's, Melbourne.
Blythe Staley and his wife Gloria decided 26 years ago to lift the standards of Melbourne's restaurants by opening Fanny's. And what a successful move it was. The former housewife and accountant, whose son Daniel now runs the cellar, have picked up countless accolades, including famous awards from France. Congratulations to Fanny's of Melbourne.
I think that's the more important one. This is your scroll.
Thank you so much.
There you are.
Want to say something? I'd just like to say how happy I am tonight to receive this award and to thank my wife Gloria, my son Daniel, and all the staff at Fanny's for their loyal service over the years. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Fanny's is a cherished Melbourne institution, owned and run for 26 years by the Staley family. Gloria Staley oversees the international menu with its accent on seasonal change and fresh local produce. Husband Blythe manages the business side and son Daniel the wine cellar. A Bulletin Award winner and one of only 2 Australian members of the celebrated Relais Gourmand. Fanny's of Melbourne.
Congratulations, Fanny's of Melbourne.
Is there a restaurant on earth with a more courageous name, one wonders? And now the most pulchritudinous Polly to perform in any parliament, accompanied by a television traveller turned entrepreneur. He now runs his own luxury air charter service, although he still carries everywhere with him his familiar This Day Tonight thermos. Here's the South Australian Minister of Tourism, Local Government and Youth Affairs, the first ever woman president of a state ALP branch, and the first man to compare a public affairs television show with an unashamedly Australian accent. Barbara Weiss and Bill Peach.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, folks. Good evening, Barbara.
Good evening.
Good evening, all. Please excuse the glasses. Someday you will become 35, as I just have, and you will need these to read. I wanted to read a short quote from George Johnston's The Australians, written in the late 1960s, to show that we have come some way in the pursuit of excellence. George wrote in that book, "In an outback pub, I stopped with a friend once for luncheon. The choice was corned beef. We were each given a dry, coarse, stringy hunk of it. Vegetables, my friend asked, and was scornfully reminded of the drought. Perhaps some tomato ketchup, he tried. She turned to her husband in disgust. Chuck us over the red Ned, will you, Ern, she called. Bastard here thinks it's Christmas. George went on to say, will we ever, I wonder, think of this land as a place for festivals and Thanksgivings? Well, in fact, we will, and we have, and we do. Here in the festival state, we are to announce the award for festivals and special events. The criteria for selection include tourist potential, community participation, professionalism, and success where it counts at the turnstiles. Barbara, the nominees?
Before I announce the nominees, can I say, as Tourism Minister in this festival state, the home of the Grand Prix and Adelaide's, or Australia's most elegant casino, that we're delighted to be hosting these National Tourism Awards, and I extend to you all a very warm welcome from all South Australians. And now to the nominations. The finalists are the Festival of Perth, WA, Tour Plan Pacific, Northern Territory, and the Adelaide Grand Prix. And the winner is?
The winner is? Interesting, you should have said what you said there. The winner is the Adelaide Grand Prix.
Dr. Mel Hammerling is the Executive Director of the Australian Formula One Grand Prix Board and set up the company Three Motions. He's a former head of Premier John Bannon's Cabinet Office and has a PhD in Computer Sciences. Congratulations, Dr. Mel Hammerling and the Adelaide Grand Prix.
I'd just like to thank the Jubilee Board that put up the idea, John Bannon and his government, who gave us the opportunity, my board for the support it gave, the staff and the very many dedicated people that made it happen, and Adelaide and the state of South Australia that now stand up proud as the best in the world. Thank you.
Adelaide came alive in '85 for the inaugural Australian Grand Prix, and Formula One was the formula for tourists. 40,000 visitors, 5,000 from overseas, $40 million in revenue, a TV audience of 650 million. And the accolades of the drivers who voted it the best organised event on the circuit. Another first for the festival city, Adelaide's own Grand Prix. And it's on again next month.
South Australia, your winner, the Adelaide Grand Prix.
The original John Brown's body lay a mouldering in the grave. This one has moulded in many a rented Mercedes and ritzy hotel room. If he wants to get back to Perth, he's got to send back the towels he pinched. Now, they call him the Minister for having a good time. How cruel. Let us not be so ungracious. Let us think of him as the Minister for giving a good time. The Australian Marketing Institute did when they gave him their 1985 Gold Award. And I must say, if John gets any more brownie points out of tonight's orgy of self-congratulation, he'll be subject to the fringe benefits tax. Anyway, here he is, the Minister for Sport, Recreation and Tourism, which I think should be called the Ministry for Jockstraps, Joy and Jingoism, John Brown.
Prime Minister, Mr. Premier, my fellow Ministers for Tourism, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to be in Adelaide tonight to be part of this third National Tourism Awards. And the presence of over 800 leaders in this great industry here in this assembly tonight is a tribute, I think, to the fact that these awards are now considered to be very prestigious by this industry and very much sought after. I instituted these awards just 3 years ago to give the industry a sense of cohesion and to heighten public awareness. Due to its diversified nature, the tourism industry has a strong need for a rallying point where its members can gather together to share its success. Through the magic of TV, our audience at home tonight will be able to see the brilliance of the Australian tourism product. Tourism is the fastest growing industry in Australia, and it's a tribute to all of you people that have made it such that so many thousands of Australian kids are getting jobs that weren't available 2 or 3 years ago. These awards encourage excellence, and as you've seen tonight and you'll continue to see, the tourism product in Australia is equalled by very few countries and superseded by none. And I'm a very proud Australian that I happen to be the Minister in charge of this wonderful industry. I think the government has shown its faith in this industry by the support we've given it over the last few years. And the growth that it's produced has certainly justified the support that we've tried to give it. We've increased funds for our marketing arm, the Australian Tourist Commission, by almost 200% in those 3 years. And with the wonderful salesmanship of Paul Hogan and with the great support of the Australian Tourist Commission, we've made Australia not anymore the best kept secret in the world, but the best revealed fact about this being the best tourist destination in the world. Tourism is a marvellous industry. Not only does it allow us to share with all of our fellow Australians the beauties of this marvellous country, but it's providing a stimulus to every part of Australia, the cities, the regions, the provincial centres and the outback. The growth rates and the increasing recognition tourism is experiencing has been won by plain hard work. But we mustn't allow ourselves to become smug about our achievements, but increase our work rate to ensure that we continue to achieve not only excellence in our domestic product, not only more holidays at home for Australians, but we have to encourage more international visitors to come here. When I said 3 years ago that our target for 1988 was 2 million visitors, that is double the 1983 number, there were some people who were ready to have me certified. I'm very happy to tell all of you and all of those Australians who are watching this show that by 1988 we will certainly exceed that figure. We're well in front of the target. So our bicentennial year will see us well and truly recognised as one of the great tourism countries of the world. Tonight's awards provide a dazzling example of what can be achieved. We know that we're only scratching the surface. The whole secret of Australia is not yet revealed, but in the next few years, I'm sure it will be. Television viewers might not be aware that earlier tonight we presented 11 other awards which could not be presented during this telecast because of shortage of time. However, I do want to share these awards with you.
Congratulations to Innkeepers Leonard of Hobart and Tea Tree Village, Victoria in the accommodation category. The Northern Territory won the Marketing and Tourism Authorities Awards, and Tourist Services were won by Yulara Development and Hotham Valley Tourist Railways. In Training and Education, congratulations to the NTI Training Committee and the Ryde College of Catering, New South Wales. And Media Award winners were the News Adelaide, NBN TV Newcastle and Radio 4BC in Brisbane.
And now it's my privilege and honour to introduce to you a man who is probably one of the happiest appointments that this government has made. He's been working on the railroad in New South Wales for some time, and now he's the newly appointed chairman of the Australian Broadcasting Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Hill.
Thanks, John. It's a delight to be here. And while our XPT Super Train didn't win the first prize in the transport section earlier tonight, it's great that the railways are part of these awards, and it's good that we made it through to the finals.
And what's more, this show is running on time, as do the trains in New South Wales.
Well, I hope we can bring some of the changes of the railways to the AVC.
Well, David, if you can share this... I won't try and top that. Well, tourism really deserves a big effort from us all. We will now announce the International Media Award. That is for the best coverage of Australian tourism carried by any overseas media outlet. And the finalists are Italian Vogue and Dick Alexander of the San Francisco Examiner.
And the winner is, sadly, not the XPT Super Train, but Dick Alexander of the San Francisco Examiner.
Mr. Dick Alexander is a former travel editor with the San Francisco Examiner, who is regarded as one of the most erudite writers in the US, has branched out into freelance writing. Prolific and highly responsible writer, and that special ability to encapsulate the Australian way of life. Congratulations, Mr. Dick Alexander.
Congratulations. Please say a few words. Wow. This is not the America's Cup I'm going to take back. For me, it's just as good. I'm not going to make a speech because this whole thing leaves me speechless. But I want to say thank you, Australia, and God bless you, Australia. Thank you.
I'm glad Dick made that point, David. They better make the best of that. He'll need a bit of excess luggage on the way to that wonderful object, but there'll be no excess freight played on the America's Cup out of Australia for a long while yet, Dick, let me tell you. Now, the next award is a very important one for outstanding achievement. This epitomises the effort and hard work that have to go into any successful venture. It represents the spirit which makes tourism such a great industry in our country.
And the finalists are, from Queensland, John Longhurst, from Sydney, Ken Doan, and from Melbourne, Izzy Liebler.
And the winner of the outstanding achievement in the tourism industry for 1986 is John Longhurst of Queensland.
Mr. John Longhurst, the owner and chairman of Dreamworld, is a roll-up-the-sleeves developer who toiled long and hard behind the wheel of a bulldozer, carving out his own dream, which has materialised into an attraction of world standards. Congratulations, Mr. John Longhurst.
Very well earned.
You've got to take this with you.
I would like to thank my tremendous management and the many hundreds of employees that I have who do such a tremendous job for the near 1 million guests that we have each year and give them one of the best times of their lives in Australia. Thank you very much.
Take a dream world one-day holiday. Take a trip away from the everyday. Take a dream world one-day holiday.
Don't say one day, that day will never come.
Wash away your worries and your woes, go take it. Take a trip away.
Dreamworld, the creation of John Longhurst, winner for outstanding achievement.
Congratulations to Dreamworld and John Longhurst and all the staff.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank those organisations which have made this awards night possible. They are Australian Airlines, the Australian Tourist Commission, the South Australian Department of Tourism, and the Adelaide Casino. And to that I should add a very modest man, a man who's been very much a part of the 3 National Tourism Awards, Mr. Billy Galvin, a very distinguished man in the tourism industry who never says anything but just works away. Thanks very much, Billy. I'm very sorry that a great Australian personality isn't here tonight. He's a leader in promoting our nation, and he's not here. It's a significant date, the 25th of September, the day that Crocodile Dundee will be let loose on an unsuspecting American public, and how they'll love it. It'll be a hoot and a great success. Paul Hogan, of course, is the man I'm referring to, and he's in the States working flat out for this mighty nation of ours, encouraging even more tourism. And I'd like to read a telegram that I've just received from Paul. And it says, to Mr. John Brown, Minister for Sport, Recreation and Tourism, Canberra, Australia, from Paul Hogan, USA. Message. Evening, viewers. It's a wonder he didn't say g'day. Sorry I can't be with you, but I'm doing my bit for the Buy Australian campaign by promoting Crocodile Dundee in the States. I've managed to keep up the good work while I've been here. And all I ask is that everybody in Adelaide tonight continues to keep the customers happy. I'll keep sending them and you keep befriending them. Happy 3rd anniversary to you all. Cheers, Hogs. P.S. Brownie, sorry I can't be in Sydney with you for the grand final. I look forward to seeing the replay. Of course, he's going to miss Parramatta winning too, isn't he? Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to introduce the Prime Minister. And in doing so, I did read somewhere the other week that Paul Hogan would like to be the Prime Minister. Well, they're 2 good-natured, typical, quintessential Australians. And I can tell you that I've never had a greater friend in the Cabinet when it comes to getting money for tourism than the Prime Minister. He's a great believer in this industry. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister of Australia, Bob Hawke.
Thank you, John, Premier Bannon, Ministers for Tourism, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the opportunity of being with you tonight on what is not only a very important occasion for you in the industry, but, believe me, a very important evening for Australia generally. It's very appropriate that we are holding this function here, the National Tourism Awards, in Adelaide, because Adelaide is the capital of a state which on so many occasions has been a pioneer in the area of tourism. And that tradition has been very solidly built upon by John Bannon, and of course I think not only all South Australians, but all Australians pay tribute to him for his single-minded determination, he certainly screwed my arm for assistance, and I was glad to give it to get the Grand Prix for Adelaide, because that's an achievement not only for Adelaide, but it has become a great tourist attraction and source of revenue for all of us in Australia, and I congratulate everyone here who's been associated with that. The proof of the popularity and standing of these awards is attributed to by the simple fact that here tonight we have some 800 of all the leading figures in the tourism industry in Australia. They have become very quickly a tradition, and all those who've been associated with developing this function are to be congratulated. There is no doubt at all that tourism is assuming a very great importance in the Australian economy. Tourism has come of age in Australia, and I would like just briefly to mention a couple of the statistics which I think, when you just look at them briefly, are quite staggering in their dimension. Let me tell you, first of all, that tourism generates about $2.3 billion in foreign exchange earnings. And it may not have escaped your attention that we need it all at the moment. And together, overseas visitors and domestic tourists inject some $18.5 billion annually into the Australian economy. Quite staggering statistic. Of course, secondly, and this flows from the first, that massive sum of money means that the industry needs to employ a very large number of Australians. And it's calculated that that $18.5 billion is responsible for the employment of 500,000 of our fellow Australians. It's when you know and understand that statistic that you realise that you are not only in an industry which I'm sure gives you personally a great deal of pleasure and satisfaction and hopefully considerable profit, but also you are in an industry which is becoming increasingly important to the welfare of this country as a whole. Each extra $1 billion in expenditure creates 24,000 new jobs, which I believe augurs very well for the future of this country. An industry which is this big and so naturally diversified and increasingly important to the country as a whole can look to these National Tourism Awards as a showcase. A vast national television audience has had the opportunity tonight to see the very best of what the industry can offer and what it's developed. And of course, the awards also foster standards of excellence, which I believe all sectors of the economy need to strive for to be able to match the rest of the world. I'm proud to be able to endorse what John Brown has said, in that since we have been in government, beginning of '83, we have deliberately tried to put tourism at the forefront of the decisions we make in the economic area. And it is true, it would be rather interesting, in fact, to have kept a couple of videos of some early Cabinet and Expenditure Review Committee meetings in '83 and '84, when Brownie and I single-handedly fought against the Philistines, who didn't have the vision that your minister and his humble Prime Minister thought they properly had at that time. There is no doubt the decisions that we took there in '83 and '84 to boost the funds available for the Tourism Commission to finance the sort of advertising that was particularly in America proceeded with has paid great dividends, as I say, not merely for you in the industry, and that's important, but it's paid very great dividends for this country as a whole. So, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would again like to thank each of you in the industry for the contributions that you have made. It's not always the case that when we go about our business and properly try and make a dollar or as many as we can, that we can be certain that we are really helping the rest of the economy. Those of you in this industry can be assured that as you go about your task of trying to create profitable enterprises, you are making a great contribution to the economy, and I thank you for it. Some of you have been rewarded tonight and recognised. Finally, I would like to say that the industry as a whole, collectively, should be thanked, and on behalf of the government, and I believe the people of Australia, I give you the thanks which you so richly deserve. I think, on the basis of all the evidence that we've seen tonight, not only you in the industry, but all of us as Australians can look forward to the years ahead for this industry as being one of an exceedingly bright future, and I thank you for your commitment. It now gives me, ladies and gentlemen, very great pleasure to announce the winner in the category of special recognition. I understand that this award is made on the initiative of the judges themselves and represents their view of a special contribution to tourism during the past year. And this year's winner is Qantas, on the nomination of the judges.
Mr. James Leslie, OAMC, joined the board of Qantas following his retirement as Managing Director of Mobil in July 1980. He's Chairman of the International Cultural Corporation of Australia, a Director of the Melbourne Theatre Company, and a member of the Australian Opera National Council. Mr. James Leslie from Qantas, congratulations.
Prime Minister, I'm excited, very honoured and delighted to accept this award on behalf of the thousands of Qantas people scattered throughout the world and throughout Australia who work so hard and have made Qantas over 66 years one of the great airlines of the world. I'd just like to mention, Prime Minister, that this year we will earn 1,300 million foreign currency and bring it back to Australia. I think that'll look small, sir, in a few years' time because we can see enormous growth. We're very proud to be an active member of this team that's bringing tourism to Australia and making it our greatest growth industry, and I'm sure we'll go on playing our part. Thank you.
Who takes us to our land of dreams? Oh, that's you, an Australian like you. The spirit of Australia, the flying kangaroo. The spirit of Australia, the flying kangaroo. The spirit of Australia.
The Special Recognition Award goes to Qantas on the nomination of the judges. Congratulations, Qantas.
To add to the Prime Ministerial pep talk, let's remember that all 15 million of us are in the tourist business. So if you bump into a tourist, be it, say, a Texan from Dallas or a Royal from Britain or perhaps Jeffrey Whitehead from New Zealand, be kind to them. After all, they're not here for very long. Now, it's good night from me, it's good night from the band, it's good night from Glenn Shorrock and from the Brownettes.
Kangaroos surf on Foster's foam. Sharks say smile on Kodachrome. LA, no way, I'm taking my holidays at home. Oh yes, I'm getting to know you, Australia. Getting to know, I'm getting to know, I'm getting to know my Australia. I'm getting to know you, Australia. Getting to know, I'm getting to know, I'm getting to know my Australia. Said I'm getting to know you, Australia. Getting to know, I'm getting to know, I'm getting to know my Australia. Oh yes I am, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Munsing in the band, please.
Congratulations to all winners of Australian Tourism Awards for 1986. From Gavin Wood, good night, Australia, from the Festival Centre in Adelaide.